The courtroom looked calm at first, too calm. But everyone sitting inside already knew this case wasn't really about money. It was about betrayal. At the plaintiff's table sat Marcus Reed, 34 years old, former restaurant owner, tense jaw, red eyes, a man trying very hard not to look emotional. Across from him sat his former best friend, Daniel Brooks, relaxed posture, expensive watch, confident smile. And somehow, that smile irritated almost everyone in the room before the case even started. At the bench sat Judge Judy. She opened the case file, then looked directly at both men. "You were friends for how long?" Marcus answered quietly. 17 years. The courtroom reacted softly, because 17 years isn't friendship anymore. That's history. Judge Judy looked toward Daniel. "And now you're suing each other over fish?" The audience laughed. Daniel smiled slightly. Marcus didn't, because according to Marcus, this case destroyed far more than a business. It destroyed trust. The case officially began. Marcus explained that 2 years earlier, he and Daniel decided to open a seafood restaurant together near the Harbor District. At first, things were perfect. Business exploded quickly. Fresh lobster, pierps, arists every weekend, long lines outside the restaurant. According to Marcus, they split responsibilities naturally. Marcus handled kitchen operations. Daniel handled finances and suppliers. Judge Judy nodded. "So far, this sounds reasonable." Marcus took a deep breath. That's before the missing money started. Now the courtroom became interested. Marcus claimed strange things began happening 6 months after opening. Supplier invoices stopped matching deliveries. Profits became inconsistent. And despite record customer traffic, business somehow kept losing money. Judge Judy immediately looked toward Daniel. "Were you stealing?" Daniel laughed lightly. "No." Marcus looked furious. "You were absolutely stealing." Judge Judy held up her hand. "One at a time." Marcus continued. At first, he believed accounting mistakes were responsible. But then one supplier accidentally revealed something shocking. Apparently, Daniel had been secretly purchasing seafood from a completely different distributor, without Marcus knowing. The audience murmured immediately. Judge Judy raised an eyebrow. Daniel leaned forward confidently. "Because our original supplier became too expensive." Marcus instantly interrupted. "That's a lie." Judge Judy pointed sharply. "Quiet." Daniel explained he found another distributor offering premium seafood for lower prices. According to him, he was simply helping the business save money. But Marcus claimed the cheaper seafood caused disaster. Customers began complaining, online reviews dropped, and then came the night that changed everything. Apparently, 3 customers became violently sick after eating oysters at the restaurant. The courtroom went silent. Marcus explained health inspectors temporarily shut the restaurant down for investigation. And, according to him, came directly from Daniel's secret supplier. Judge Judy looked toward Daniel slowly. "Did it?" Daniel crossed his arms. "There's no proof." Marcus immediately handed documents toward the bailiff. Inspection reports, supplier invoices, health department notices. The room became quiet while Judge Judy reviewed everything carefully. Then her face changed slightly because one document clearly showed Daniel signed for seafood deliveries Marcus never approved. Judge Judy looked up. "You hid suppliers from your business partner?" Daniel hesitated. Yes, the audience reacted immediately. Judge Judy narrowed her eyes. "That's not how partnerships work." Daniel defended himself quickly. "I was trying to increase profits." Marcus shook his head angrily. "You destroyed the restaurant." The tension inside the courtroom became personal, because this clearly wasn't only about contaminated food. This was about trust between 2 men who once considered each other family. Judge Judy asked the obvious question. "Why didn't you simply tell him?" Daniel finally lost patience. Because Marcus panics about everything. Marcus laughed bitterly. Because I cared about quality. Daniel leaned forward aggressively. You cared about controlling everything. Boom. Now the audience understood. This wasn't just financial conflict. This was ego, power, resentment. Years of it. Then Marcus revealed another bombshell. According to him, Daniel secretly opened a second seafood business across town. While they still owned the restaurant together, the courtroom exploded. Judge Judy looked genuinely surprised. You did what? Daniel immediately defended himself. It wasn't open yet. Marcus handed over photos, grand opening banners, social media advertisements. And then the worst part. The new business used almost the exact same recipes and branding style as their original restaurant. Judge Judy stared at Daniel in disbelief. You copied your own partner? Daniel shrugged slightly. I helped create the business. Marcus looked devastated hearing that, because suddenly everyone realized something painful. Daniel hadn't been trying to save the restaurant. He'd been preparing to leave it. The audience watched quietly now. Even Judge Judy's expression softened slightly toward Marcus. Then came another twist. Daniel's attorney stood up and introduced a witness, a former employee. The young waiter nervously approached the stand. According to the defense, Marcus himself contributed to the restaurant's collapse. Judge Judy folded her hands carefully. How? The waiter hesitated, then quietly said, Marcus had anger problems. The courtroom shifted immediately. The witness claimed Marcus screamed at employees, threw kitchen utensils during stressful nights, and scared multiple workers into quitting. Marcus looked stunned. That's exaggerated. But the witness continued. One cook cried during service because he yelled at her in front of customers. Now Judge Judy looked less sympathetic again, because the case suddenly became more complicated. Not innocent versus guilty, but two flawed people destroying something valuable together. Daniel immediately seized the moment. He's acting like I ruined everything alone. Marcus fired back instantly. You poisoned customers. Judge Judy slammed the desk lightly. Silence. Then came the evidence nobody expected. Security footage. The courtroom lights dimmed slightly. Apparently, cameras inside the restaurant kitchen recorded multiple late-night arguments between Marcus and Daniel. The footage showed shouting matches, accusation, employees walking out, and one moment where Marcus threw paperwork across the kitchen. The audience reacted softly. Judge Judy watched carefully, then asked quietly, How long were things this bad? Marcus looked exhausted now. Months. Daniel nodded silently, and for the first time all day, neither man looked angry, just tired. Because somewhere beneath the lawsuits and blame, they both understood something. The friendship had died long before the restaurant did. Then came the emotional moment nobody expected. Judge Judy asked a simple question. Were you ever actually friends? Marcus answered instantly. He was my best friend. Daniel stayed silent, then quietly said, He still was. The courtroom became still because somehow that made everything sadder. Marcus explained they met when they were teenagers working at a small fishing dock, poor, ambitious, dreaming about opening a business together one day. For years, they saved money, planned menus, shared ideas, and eventually, they built the restaurant from nothing. Judge Judy listened carefully, then asked the most important question of the day. So what happened? Silence. Long silence. Finally, Daniel answered. Money. Nobody disagreed, because money changes friendships in strange ways, especially when success arrives faster than maturity. Daniel eventually admitted he became obsessed with expansion and profits after seeing competitors grow quickly. According to him, Marcus thought emotionally, while he thought strategically. Marcus laughed bitterly. Strategically, he pointed toward the inspection reports. You nearly killed people. Daniel immediately looked ashamed. For the first time all day, his confidence disappeared because beneath all the excuses, he knew Marcus was right. Then Judge Judy reviewed the final numbers. Business losses, health violations, supplier contracts, employee turnover, and partnership agreements. The courtroom waited silently. Finally, Judge Judy removed her glasses slowly. This partnership, she said carefully, consapes because neither of you trusted each other anymore. She pointed toward Daniel. You made secret financial decisions behind your partner's back. Then toward Marcus. And you managed conflict like an explosion waiting to happen. Neither argued because both knew it was true. Then Judge Judy delivered the line that completely changed the atmosphere. Bad businesses fail. She paused. But when friendships fail inside business, people stop thinking clearly. Absolute silence. Marcus stared downward. Daniel rubbed his hands nervously. Then came the final ruling. Judge Judy ruled Daniel financially responsible for unauthorized supplier activity and deceptive business conduct. However, she also reduced damages after reviewing evidence of Marcus's hostile workplace behavior contributing to employee loss and instability. Neither side fully won, and somehow that felt appropriate because there wasn't really a winner here. Just two former best friends sitting in silence while the thing they built together disappeared forever. Then Judge Judy gave her final statement, and nobody in the courtroom moved while she spoke. Friendship and business can work. She looked directly at both men, but only when honesty survives success. Silence. Marcus nodded slowly. Daniel looked away, and after 17 years of friendship, courtroom realized something painful. The fish didn't destroy the partnership, the secrets did.